Hi everybody, Mark Moorhead here in beautiful Phoenix, Arizona at the Hall of Flame Museum of Firefighting, and we are the world's largest historical firefighting museum. And if you can't come into the museum, we'll bring the museum to you. And by the way, if you enjoy these little segments that we do for you, we would really appreciate it if you'll like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It really helps us out when you do that. Now today, we're in Gallery 2, and we're going to look at a really lovely rig that we have that was built in the 1920s. Now, a lot of times we tend to talk about, when we talk about the automotive firms that made fire trucks, we talk about Ford, we talk about Mack. All the biggies made some fire trucks. And then of course there are those specialty makers like American LaFrance and Seagrave and Aaron's Fox that are just the giants. We don't often talk about Stutz. People have heard of Stutz, of course. They made race cars, and they also made luxury cars. They made the famous Stutz Bearcat back in the 1920s. But they also made some fire trucks. Starting in 1919 in Indiana, they started making fire trucks. And they made this fire truck in 1924, and they sold it to the town of Havre de Grace, Maryland. And Havre de Grace had it for a little over 10 years, into the 1930s. Now Stutz went through a big shakeup when the crash happened in 1929, the Great Depression hit, and they had to kind of reorganize, but they did rebrand themselves in the 30s, again in Indianapolis, and the little town in Maryland, Havre de Grace, sold this back to them. And actually they traded it. They traded it for another truck, and that truck also survived, by the way. That is in the Maryland Fire Museum. But they gave it back to Stutz, and Stutz refurbished it for a little town in Indiana called Farmland, Indiana, and that's how we have this truck marked now. They changed out the hose bed, and they put in a big 350-gallon tank, a booster tank for their water. And then they sold it to Farmland, who had it for a long time. In 1982, it was donated to the Hall of Flame. It was in real bad shape, but it was refurbished by our great restorer, Don Hale. And you can see his signature down here. And we are very proud to have such an elegant truck that had kind of a really interesting history. And I'm very pleased to get to present it to you today. Check back often. We're always trying to offer you new good stuff here at the Hall of Flame Museum YouTube channel. I'm Mark. Have a good one. Bye-bye.